sure have enjoyed this toolbox I built. Kind of every time I look at it, reminds me it's like my Charles Ingalls toolbox with the old time stuff in there. But it carries everything you need for this type of work. And for me, this is always the hardest thing is getting good edges with hand saws. All right, so that looks pretty good. I didn't do the best cut right there. You can see this is the piece right there where I didn't quite come together. It's typical for me. I'm just not real great with hand saws yet. Getting better, but got a long ways to go. I just touched up with the planer right there a little bit, so it's nice and even. So now we can cut it to length. We'll cut it to our 7 feet, and then we'll keep moving on. So if you're wondering why I don't, some people kind of take issue with using power tools. They say, well, that's not real homesteading, but I'd like to be able to have the time to be able to do everything by hand, but it's just not realistic with, I mean, we're all busy, aren't we? Sometimes you need to do what you have to do to get the job done. I like to use the old tools as much as possible, but it's not about that, just being a purist. I'm not a purist, I'm a realist. And I like to have a basic understanding of the old tools and how to use them, but I'm not dogmatic about it. So that's kind of, I guess that's kind of my philosophy. That's where modern homesteading comes from. It's kind of the motto for the channel, and that's, as I've always said, it's kind of doing what you can with what you have where you're at. And if modern homesteading means, my grandfather lived in a city lot, a double lot in just outside of Portland, and I consider him to be he was a modern homesteader. We harvested our own meat, butchered our own meat. Always had a garden, grew his own berries, canned, all that stuff. So you can modern homestead from wherever you're at. Okay, so I'm going to track here. So 16, so this is long enough. This comes out to just 7 feet, so we don't need to do anything to this, so we can leave this alone. So what should we do? Should we cut the mortise in here now, or should we get all the timbers ready? Let's get I can't decide. Let's do it right. Let's get all the heavy lifting done. We'll get all the timbers cut. Then we'll do this fun part. I know I want to do the fun part as much as you guys do, but just take a little bit here, show you some more really cool tools. Most of you, well, I don't know, some of you maybe you haven't seen some of this stuff. All right, so here we got another one. This is, I just measured it. It's actually 7 inches by 6 inches. Well, that's just perfect, because what we need is we need a 4 by 6 for the cross frame, and then we need these are full dimension, and then we need a 2 by 6, 2 by 8, about 2 by 6. I can probably work with that for the knee brace. So this here, even allowing for the kerf, we can mill this down and still have enough for everything out of this one piece. So let's do it. So to cut this 4 by 6 out of the 6 by 7, I'm going to use my Granberg Alaskan chainsaw mill. And for power saw, I'm using the Steel Pro 441. If you have the keen observer, will notice that I'm running the new lightweight bar. I heard about them sometime back. I never really thought too much about it. I thought maybe kind of a novelty thing. And then I used one when I was qualifying for my sawyer certification with the Forest Service last year. And the instructor had one. And as soon as I saw that, I knew right away that was what a tremendous advantage that was. And it's really interesting design. It says bars are heavy, and they were always been solid steel in the past, and they're exacerbated by the fact that they stick out so far. You've got all that leverage. It's like try holding a weight close to your chest, and then try holding a weight extended clear out. It's much harder. Same principle with your chainsaw bar. And so what they've done is they've milled out the whole center, like a whole oval in the center, and they've pressed in either an aluminum or some composite of some sort, something that's super lightweight. And it's amazing the difference. I don't know that it's such a big deal on your smaller saws, but when you get into the big saws like these, this is a 32-inch bar. it's not an easy tool to use. I mean, it takes a lot of strength, a lot of endurance, and having that advantage of the lightweight bar is huge. The disadvantage, the downside of it are two. They're twice as much money. They're a little bit more expensive, and they're not going to be as durable. So you can't. I mean, sometimes when you're falling timber, you can kind of use your bar to wedge and pry a little bit with. You know, not extreme cases, but these are going to be more fragile. Certainly more fragile than the other ones. So, all right. So I've got my Gramberg mill adjusted, and now we'll just install the saw. I remember the first time I saw there's a lot of first times today. First time I saw a Gramberg mill being used was in Yosemite National Park, and it was the Forest Service. They were using it in a gigantic ponderosa pine came down in the park, and they were milling it into these huge timbers. They must have been 24 by 16 by 40 feet long or so. And the guys that were doing it, they weren't working, they weren't there. It was like a weekend, but they'd left some of the equipment there. And so I was crawling around on that, looking at those beautifully milled timbers, and it was just amazing to me. I didn't know that you could do it. And so there's a lot of disadvantages to the Gramberg mill as far as production. It's not a production tool, but it's got a lot of good things that your more expensive mills, they can't touch. And one of those is to be able to, well, it's affordable. These are really inexpensive. And the second thing is they're completely portable. You can fall, or let's say you have a huge timber down, tree down, windfall or something like that, down in your lower pasture, and you can take this anywhere. Wherever you can take a power saw, you can take your stuff down the step and you can mill it right in place. You don't have to skid it. You don't have to move it. It's not limited to length. You could mill the full length of the tree. I mean, it's an incredibly versatile tool. You wouldn't want to use this, for trying to make a living as selling timber, but just for hobbyists and small time projects like this or remote areas, I don't know that it can be beat. All right, I think we're ready. So one of my favorite parts, you guys get the rare honor of seeing something that no one's ever seen before. The inside of a beautiful, very old tree. Look at that. Oh, it's nice. Isn't that nice? There we go. We got both pieces. We got the 4x6 there. We got the 2x. Looks like a full dimension 2x6 there to me. Man, this is nice. Look at that. This is a good cut. Real good cut. Man, life just doesn't get any better than this. Working with these beautiful timbers, milling your own timber from your own land. Goodness. I can't think of anything I'd rather do. Okay, so we've got, let's get our big old planer fired up here. Clean these sides up. Let's see what we got. I think we're gonna have some nice pieces here. Boy, that is nice, isn't it? That's really pretty. That's going to look really good. I have to figure out what to put on it. Maybe might just put linseed oil on it. No, we'll see. Man, that turned out great. All right, 2 down. This is our 4x6. I think it is. I should probably measure it just to double check. I have made many mistakes in the past. Yep, right on, spot on, 4 inches. All right, so that'll be a cross member. So the only thing left is a 2x6, and that will be for a knee brace. Here, I'm going to dip it real nice with this one. Let's just, yeah, looks pretty good. I don't want to get this too much thinner. I'm going to lightly plane this one side here, and then we can start thinking about our joinery. Boy, look at all the shavings from that planer. Man, oh man, that is not your big box store planer. You're probably wondering where I got such a beast like that. Well, I'll tell you in the next video. There's our raw material, our post, cross beam, knee brace. We're ready for joinery here. I think we might be out of time. That's going to turn out really nice. That's going to be something that's nice that I'll enjoy looking at every time we drive home.